Juno is the coworker for sales and marketing teams. We set out to create something that actually felt like a teammate, not just another chatbot. And so we gave Juno its own email inbox, its own computer, and enabled it to connect to the tools and data that you already use. So to demonstrate just how powerful Juno is, let's start with something that every business needs, a CRM. We're starting off with a simple request. Build me a CRM and find me 20 ideal leads using LinkedIn signals. Now, if you were to use a generic chatbot like ChatGPT or Claude, they would get stuck at the first hurdle here because they can't access LinkedIn. But Juno, specialized in sales and marketing, can go ahead and do all of this because this is what it's trained for. So the first thing it's doing is checking the existing databases on its computer and the packages it has available that can help it with this task. Whatever you're doing, whether it's optimizing your ad account, creating marketing material, designing ads, or building an outreach campaign, just about anything you can think of, Juno can help you with. So as we watch, we can see Juno using its computer to create a new database and start building out everything it needs to create an actual CRM that we can use. If we click up here, you can see the different types of artifacts we can use. Anything from pages for landing pages or tools, tables to store data in, documents for content, even calendars to plan your socials, galleries, and a canvas if you're designing images. Instead of scattering this across 20 different tools, Juno lets you keep it all under one intelligent platform and use agents to automate work across all of it. So it started by using LinkedIn and its browser to research these leads, and then it's presented this artifact to me. And we can see it's just rich with an incredible amount of information from its research. This probably took about 20 minutes, I would say, and it would have taken me 4 or 5 hours if I was to do this manually. So now I'm going to ask it to actually build the CRM kanban where I can track these leads. So what I'm envisioning is your traditional kind of CRM tool where I can drag over the lead into different stages and help me track my pipeline. And the great thing is, because Juno actually creates these databases, it becomes our system of record too. So we can use this for anything, whether it's tracking and building out blog articles or building a social listening tool. There's an effectively infinite number of things that we can create using databases. You can even use it for when you're building landing pages with Juno to then have it register and save lead inputs or quiz funnel results to a database. So we've got a few questions from Juno about which pipeline stages we would like. And I'm going to go for a more generic one. And let's see what it comes back with in a few minutes. So it looks like it's just finishing up here on the left, but what I'm going to do is just expand this here while it's still working. And if we go on the tabs and we see this database, this, like I mentioned earlier, is an actual database, and Juno's smart enough to actually connect it to this interface. So this has just replaced a piece of CRM software, and there's hundreds of different software applications that you can simply replace in the sales and marketing space with Juno. So now we have this, I can go ahead and drag and change the stage, and that will have updated in the database too. So it's an incredibly powerful way to build these databases, create interfaces to use them, and then also actually automate the workflows within them using Juno, because Juno understands all of this and it gets what you're trying to do and it understands your brand. You can see in this workspace, it's for an agency called Clarity, and it's used the logo of the workspace. So any teammates that are now using this tool feel right at home and it's familiar to them. What I'm going to do now is take it one step further. So we've got our database, we've got our CRM. Over here, we can see we've got some connectors in this tab. I've already connected my Gmail. We could automate this so that whenever I move anybody into the qualified stage, it then drafts outreach in Gmail. We're actually not going to use the connectors right now. What I want to do instead is go to scheduled, and it's how Juno plans its work week. So whenever it feels like it needs to schedule work for the future, whether it's a one-off task or a recurring task, this is where it happens. So what I've asked it to do is schedule it so that it adds 20 new leads to this CRM every single morning at 8 a.m. And we could have done anything. We could have said every few hours, every week, whatever works for our schedule. So what it's doing now is it's actually noticed that there's already this lead generation schedule in here. So it's deciding to actually reuse that one and update it instead of creating a new one. It's decided to actually create a document artifact and write down its playbook so that it can outline its approach and its strategy based on what it just did. And then it can save that in the library that you can see over here. So it's actually designed for itself to use, not necessarily user facing. So it's probably going to be quite technical and it's going to outline its own strategy. But if we wanted to change anything in here, we actually could as well. And now we can see on the left, it's just switched over to its scheduled tab again. It's amazing to actually see it work and watch it change tabs at the same time. But it's done that now. It's created these schedules. It's created this playbook here and presented it to me. And so now this will run every single morning at 8 a.m. What if we wanted Juno to custom code a landing page for every single lead in that CRM so that when we're sending them an email, we can really stand out from the crowd and show that we're putting more effort in than anybody else? I'm going to show you how to do just that. So I've asked it in the CRM we recently created, I want you to create a personalized landing page for one of the leads as a proof of concept. So we want to get the design right before we actually start personalizing it. It's firstly going to use its computer to go and see what we've created. Obviously, this is a new task, but it still has that memory and that awareness of the things it's created and the work that it's done. So we're going to let this get up to speed, do some research, and let's see what it comes up with. Okay, just a few minutes later, and it's presented this artifact to us. So let's full screen this. And I love this. This is a real ABM landing page. It's personalized. The title actually mentions the business that we're targeting. It's personalized the tagline about that company. And then it's actually pointing out information about them. It's scored them, how good of a fit they are for this marketing agency. And it's even used their first name. But what do we do now? We have this landing page here. Obviously, we can share our artifacts. How do we actually publish this? Let me show you. We're now going to ask it to publish this landing page, and let's see what it does. Because Juno has built in the ability to deploy landing pages, and you can even add your custom domain. So I'm going to just go ahead and close these tabs so we've got a bit of a clean space here. And one of the things that I love to do is just log into Juno every day and see what ideas it has for me, because these are just constantly refreshing based on the market and the work we've done recently. And there's always something there that I can just think, yeah, that makes perfect sense. Click on it and it does the work. Another thing that I often do is actually delegate work to Juno using its email. And you can find its email address up here. That's a personalized secure mailbox just for you. And you can delegate work and receive work back from Juno. So a lot of customers will actually just work with Juno over email. So it's taken me over here to our sites tab on its computer. And we can see you've got domains options here. And we can see now it's actually just deployed that to this page. We haven't connected our domain yet, so it's used a generic one, but this is now accessible. That's the landing page we just created. We could have it now personalize that landing page for every single lead, and then even draft that outreach email, like I mentioned earlier, so that every single person we reach out to gets this personalized landing page that's just made for them. And if I go ahead and click it, you can see it loads beautifully. And we go back here and you can see it already has the page view registered. I could go on for hours and hours showing you how capable Juno is. But the reality is it's the perfect coworker for go-to-market teams because it helps you multiply your output, maintain awareness of everything you're doing, and also build personalized tools, software, and workflows to accelerate every strategy that you and your team are executing. So whether you're an agency, an in-house, or even a solo founder, you've got to hire Juno and see exactly what it can do for you.